Next, we're going to talk about the fork pressure test. Spoons can be used, but they're not recommended for this. It's basically we're evaluating the firmness of the food by pushing on it. And there's a couple little subtleties to this. When we look at the fork pressure test on the next slide, you'll see that we need to make sure we have the right dimensions of the piece of food we're going to test. You're really looking for something that's close to being 15 by 15 milliliters, or not milliliters, centimeters. And that you're going to push on the bowl of the fork until till the thumbnail blanches. And that is a fairly consistent number throughout the world. When your fingernail blanches, it's at about 17 kilopascals, 15 kilopascals. And you're pushing, and what you're looking for, did the sample squash, did it break apart, did it change shape permanently and not return to its original shape? So these should be easy to squash, and the idea behind this is we're testing to make sure that something can be broken down easily by the tongue without chewing. IDDSI did come out with a clarification of this, which I'm showing you on the next slide, and that is where you use a balance. So you don't have to rely on watching when your thumbnail blanches and turns white. You can check to make sure that there's 390 grams of pressure. This relies on you making sure that you have a three-dimensional piece that's really 15 by 15 by 15 when you're going to push it that way, because that when you do the calculations on the volume and things like that, which is something that an engineer like myself does, you'll see that it matches up to 15 kilopascals. And I wanted to show you on the next slide, this is something called the IOP test, and it's where you put a little bulb in your mouth and it measures the pressure as people swallow. What it's showing here is that somebody's pushing on the bulb and that their thumbnail has blanched white at 17 kilopascals, and that's the same force you use to squish a banana or something like that with this test. And that matches up to the average palate pressure on a human, which is between about 15 and 20 kilopascals. So the idea here is that there's a physiological tie between the testing method we're doing to show you that when you push with that amount of force with the tongue, you should be able to break something apart. And that's what's going on in people. When we talk about the fork pressure test, IDDSI did have a big detailed discussion about it with pureed foods. It's supposed to be a smooth consistency of very fine particles. Chewing is not required when you have puree. It's held together with just a little bit of structure. It's slippery enough to move easily and swallow with minimal effort. The thing they're concerned about is that there are gelled foods or molded which may become too sticky or firm over time as that sets. And on the left there, I'm showing that they had a whole special issue on purees where they talked about these issues in great detail, and they want to make sure that when you push on them that things remain soft. The fork spoon separation test is so similar to the fork pressure test that I just demonstrate them at the same time. We use this for level 6 and level 7, easy to chew. And basically you're going to take the fork on its side, as you can see on the next slide, and we're going to apply about that 15 kilopascals of pressure until the thumbnail blanches, and you should be able to cut the food apart very simply without any problem. So when we come to the camera here, I have it ready to do the fork pressure test. So first thing I would do on this chicken is I would push it till my thumbnail blanches, and you can see that this one, because this was actually grilled chicken, it's not going to break apart very easily. I can get it there when I do it a few different times. If you want to check this on the balance as another way to do this, when I push with 390 grams of force, what I'm seeing here is that it's not really breaking that apart at all. So I would fail this, and that's what's going to happen when you use grilled foods, especially something like chicken, versus having something that is boiled or poached or sous vide or something like that, where you can get the meat really tender. Facilities have to begin to think about the method of preparation they're using so that they can get the intended result. When we go to the broccoli, you can see that the broccoli is going to squash very easily with my fork, and it breaks through very easily. And on the balance, it's kind of the same thing. It just breaks, and it's kind of permanently squashed. I think there's a finger test too where I can take this and just kind of squish it. So these are very easy. And again, if we go to that separation test, when I push here, my thumbnail blanches long before I can cut it. And on the broccoli, it breaks very easily. So you can see these differentiate between the textures of these different foods quite easily. And so with the chicken, you would have to pick up something else to do. What is something you can do if you can't change your method of preparation? People who are on a soft and bite-sized diet generally can eat something that is minced and moist. So that's probably what they would have to do in this case. If that was the chicken they had today and they didn't have any alternatives, you could see people who are on a level 6 soft and bite-sized diet eating a main dish that is minced and moist. Simply because when they tested it, it didn't pass, so they processed everything into minced and moist.